Okay, good morning, everyone. Happy Sabbath. I want to take a little bit of time here for some announcements this morning. We are doing our church service a little bit differently. We are in the midst of our Unlock Revelation series, and I'm going to announce some things, and then I'm going to step down, and then we're going to resume the service at 11 o'clock. But for announcements, we have a few things to take care of. First of all, I want to turn your attention to some membership transfers here in our church. This is a second reading. We've had our first reading on this, so we need to vote on this morning. We have a transfer in of David Ballesteros from the Grand Blanc SDA Seventh-day Adventist Church, and Latasha Hamilton from North Aurora SDA Church in North Aurora, Illinois, and Zion Hamilton also from that church. Those are transfers in. This is the second reading, and I would entertain a motion to approve that. I see a motion. Is there a second on that this morning? I see a second. All in favor, please raise your hand. Okay, that motion, any opposed? I need to ask that question, don't I? Okay, that motion is carried. We also have some transfers out. The Nelson family, Mark and Melissa, Marissa and Mitchell, transferring to the Niles West Side Seventh-day Adventist Church. Again, this is a second reading. I need to entertain a motion on that one. Transfer out, I see a first. Is there a second? A hand for a second on that motion? Okay. All in favor for that, please raise your hand. Okay, great. Any opposed? Same thing. All right, that motion's carried as well. We also have two new church officers we have a second reading for to serve in the position of deacon. We have Jake Connor and Dan Coster. We'd given the first reading last week. This is the second reading. I need a motion to approve that. I see a first. Is there a second for that? I see a second. Okay. All in favor of that motion, please raise your hand. Very good. Any opposed to that? Same sign. That motion is carried as well. I don't think there's any other pressing announcements here this morning, so we will be resuming our Unlock Revelation service here very shortly. Thank you for being here today. Well, good morning again. And we, as I mentioned, are in our first week. We've just finished up our first week of our Unlock Revelation series. We're looking at the book of Revelation, and as we learned on our first night, pertinent books because the book of Revelation kind of pulls in from all different places in the Bible. And the Bible tells us there in the book of Revelation, chapter 1 and verse 3, "Blessed is he who reads and those who hear the words of this prophecy and keep those things which are written in it, for the time is near." And we believe that that time is near. And so we've been looking at and studying the prophecies of Revelation. We're glad that you're here this morning. Now, one thing we've been doing during the series, and I just want to highlight for you this morning, is we've been providing seminar Bibles so that if you have a hard time keeping up with the text or would like a Bible to look along with, we have those available in the foyer as you come in. If you didn't get one, you want to find it, use the seminar Bible. It's paged the same as the speaker's Bible, so you can avail yourself of that. Another thing we've been doing and been blessed by is we've had our students from our academy sharing with us tips for better health. And Ariana Moretta is going to be sharing with us this morning. I know the name is Nikisha in our program, but Nikisha is elsewhere today, and Ariana has stepped in, and we're so thankful for that. And she's going to be talking about how to better deal with depression. And so I'm going to invite her up at this time to share with us. Thank you, Ariana.
Good morning, church. Happy Sabbath. How many of you are happy that it's Sabbath? Oh, amen. All right, so like Pastor Howard said, today I'm going to be talking about depression and the way out. So Abraham Lincoln famously suffered from bouts of melancholy and depression. I didn't know this, but apparently he did. So one of the things he said during these seasons of sadness was, "I am now the most miserable man living. If what I feel were equally distributed to the whole human family, there would not be one cheerful face on the earth." That's pretty heavy. Winston Churchill also battled with the demon of depression for many years, almost fulfilling his father's prediction of a shabby, unhappy, and futile existence. But their depression did not win. These are more than stories about remarkable people who overcame great odds, because these men went on to do amazing things. But these stories are about the awesome power of the human brain to retool and reshape itself in spite of challenges. Dr. Neil Nedley, author of Depression, The Way Out, has identified 21 depression hits, which he describes in his book. In his lifestyle approach to treating depression, he states that many factors influence the risk for and severity of depression. It is important to identify and target the ones you can change. Always work with your healthcare provider when making medical or lifestyle changes, especially with severe depression or mood changes. It's important to work with a healthcare professional in cases of serious depression, as 75% of depression sufferers have other conditions that need to be addressed. The good news is, though, that there is hope. New nerve cells are born in the brain every day in regions affected by depression. God has engineered our brains for renewal, recovery, and restoration over time. Isn't that amazing? The following are some practical ways to find balance in your life. Nutrition and lifestyle. Physical and mental exercise, proper nutrition, and adequate sleep will help anyone gain cognitive clarity and emotional stability. Research has increasingly underscores the powerful mind-body connection in mental and physical health. Food is also a very beneficial medicine. That's also my favorite, so. Your body wants carbs, so fight carbs with carbs. Plan fiber-rich meals, eat more raw fruits and veggies, focus on beans, whole grains, legumes, and enjoy nuts, olives, avocados, and olive oils. Carbohydrates and wholesome plant foods are the major fuel source for cells. Sugary drinks, sweets, white flour products promote cravings and addictions. Whole foods and unrefined carbohydrates satisfy carbohydrate cravings linked to depression. So basically what I'm getting from this is all the comfort foods that you might be eating when you're sad, like the ice cream or the cakes or whatever that you're eating, could actually make the depression worse because it creates the cravings linked to depression. Another helpful thing is rest. And establishing a regular sleep routine helps lessen the sleep challenges associated with depression. Depression affects your sleep architecture, which is how your sleep cycles function throughout the night. A sleep routine is a set of habits that remind your brain it's time to slow down, like a hot bath, a cup of tea, or a favorite book. Many factors improve sleep. For example, exercise, daily sunshine, don't eat late, avoiding caffeine, developing a sleep routine, and leaving media alone at night. I know it's really hard to do all these things, but I think that it is possible and it really will help you. Other factors that can help decrease depression, both psychologically and spiritually, are forgiveness, gratitude, prayer, and remembering God's promises to us. Exercise lights a fire on every level of your brain, from stoking up the neuron's metabolic forces to forging the structure that transmits information between cells. Exercise is powerful in creating new neurons for restoring the brain. Social and environmental. Attitude, social networks, and a healthy lifestyle are woven together in their importance for physical and mental health. Healthy relationships make our world bigger and provide support and accountability. Habits of thinking and outlook. To a large extent, we have the ability to choose how we look and will think and react to a situation. A person's psychological state is a prominent factor in health. Focus on the positive instead of the negative. Focus on solutions instead of the problems. And the spiritual need. We all have a spiritual need for God, and honestly, He will help you so much. I know from personal experience. He took me out of a deep waste place, out of the soft and sticky earth. He put my feet on rock and made my steps certain. He put a new song in my mouth, a song of praise to God. Healing takes place with time and perseverance. There can even be joy in the healing journey. Choosing God, choosing faith, choosing His plan are all decisions based on choice, not feelings. His promises are sure. Will you make that choice for today?
Thank you, Ariana. It's good to know that there are positive ways to deal with depression, and that some of those figures in history, some of which I wasn't as aware had struggled with depression, still were able to do great things, and so can we. Of course, that most positive thing is the help of the Lord, as she had shared with us. Now, we have special music this morning by David Ballesteros. That's going to be followed by our presentation with Pastor Daniel Jean-Francois. For those of you who aren't aware, he's my associate here, and Pastor Daniel is an ordained minister of the gospel, and one of his loves and joys is the study and the preaching of prophecy. He's going to be preaching today about Revelation's Lamb, following the number by David Ballesteros. Once again, I'm glad you're with us this morning, and the next voice you're going to hear after our special music is Pastor Daniel.
Softly and tenderly Jesus is calling, calling for you and for me. At the heart's portal, He's waiting and watching, watching for you and for me. Why should we tarry when Jesus is pleading, pleading for you and for me? And why should we linger and heed not his mercies. Mercies for you and for me. Come home, come home, ye who are weary, come home. Earnestly, tenderly, Jesus, it's calling. Calling, oh sinner, come home. Just think of the wonderful love he has promised for you and for me. And though we have sinned, he has mercy and pardon for you and for me. Come home, come home, ye who are weary, come home. Earnestly, tenderly, Jesus is calling, calling, oh sinner, come home. He is calling, oh sinner, just come